Hey, I'm Brian, and I've played Elden Ring for just about 150 hours now. I play a character named Ionis who started out as a vagabond, I think it's called, essentially the class that starts with a shield. My playstyle is wearing the heaviest armor I can find and the biggest shield I can carry, and just trying to absorb as much damage as possible because I'm very bad at parrying and dodging. So I like to just stand there with my shield up and then just take a few hits when I have an opportunity.
All right. I am Jake. I've been playing Elden Ring for probably 85 hours now, I think. I started off as an astrologer that didn't last but maybe 4 hours, so I re-rolled, started over, and started off as a samurai. I named him Wolf in honor of Sekiro. I think my playstyle is pretty much just strength and dex for the most part. I've lately started pouring some points into intelligence, mainly just so I could use a couple of weapons that I've picked up along the way that I just didn't quite have enough stats for otherwise.
Hi, my name is Klaus, or Vaya as you know me. I've played Elden Ring for 96 hours and I'm a level 123 warrior. Um, I'm playing a warrior with two colossal swords, so I can do jump attacks and kill everything, and I'm too stupid to learn spells or throw pots or use weapon arts, whatever. I have two spells that I use, but they are buffs for my sword.
Hello, I'm Michelle, also known as Petey Puff in the Discord, or Petey on Petey's Power Hour podcast. I've been playing Elden Ring for 105 hours. My character, named Petey, is a bandit, but I have more dexterity and arcane, and I guess intelligence because I wanted to use the moon veil. So we're going to say dex, arcane, and some intelligence, mostly vigor. And I'm at level 104. I'm at level 104. I like to roll like an armadillo and run away as much as possible. I'm not very good. I like to hit, roll. That's my playstyle. And do some sneaky archery, because if I can be as far away from the bad guys as possible, the better.
Hello, Captain Drachma. Um, like I said, Captain Drachma. My character in the game is named Drachma. Um, I've played Elden Ring for about 86 hours, I think. A little over 86, going on 87. I am level 135 in the game. My character is basically a high endurance, somewhat high vigor, high strength character. So basically a big tank, dual wheel or not dual wheel, two hands weapons. Initially, I was going to have him two hand like ultras or colossals, I guess, in this game, but decided on a different play style. So I ended up about halfway through the game, found a Knight Rider glaive that I ended up specking into heavy. So that gave me quite a bit of AR towards strength. So I was able to do that, and honestly, it's a little bit faster, which I think this game definitely wants you to play a little bit faster than some of the older Souls games do.
Hi, I'm Pam, and I have played Elden Ring for just under 80 hours. I play a character named Josilah, who is level 117 currently. I started her off as an astrologer, and I've sort of kept up with that. I've never used magic really in a Souls game, so I decided I was going to go the sorcery route, this time dumping most of my points into intellect with some dexterity, because I also use a katana. I sort of switch between my staff and katana as I play, and I wear light armor so that I can get those nice fast rolls happening.
My name is Johnny, and I'm an Elden Ring player. I've played Elden Ring for about 260 hours, a little bit more than that, and I plan to continue to keep playing. I play a hero who uses a greatsword, and the crushing weight of this great sword is mirrored only by the crushing loneliness in his soul, because the network connection on PC keeps dropping multiplayer. So I take that out and transform that pain into pleasure by crushing my enemies' skulls with it. So it works out in the end. It feels pretty good.
What is the backstory in Elden Ring? I guess I had to get there, and then Melina, right? Melina. You basically eventually go and find her, but there is.
So I think what happened was, based on what I know, long before the shattering of the Elden Ring, the Caria Manor style crystal magic was like the preeminent force in the world.
What is the backstory of Elden Ring? Fuck if I know.
The backstory of Elden Ring. Well, the Elden Ring shattered. Shit hit the fan. And that's where we are.
And then one thing led to another. More than likely due to like falling stars. That's where the Elden Ring probably came from. And then
There was something called the Shattering, which was like a war among the demigods.
I don't pay attention. I didn't even pay attention to the introductory cinematic. So there's a tree. There's some lords. The lords are fighting. That's it. I'm something called a tarnished, and I don't know what that means.
Elden Ring magic all over the place. It was shattered by that one guy with red hair who's in the beginning. I can't think of his name right now. Radagon.
All I know is that there's I don't know.
Okay, so before my character showed up, before the Tarnished was brought back to life, there was the Elden Lord, who was, I guess, Godfrey, who was, I guess, the Elden Lord, and then what they did was they killed him, apparently, and then the Elden Ring shattered, and when it shattered, it pretty much sort of got a little crazy and batshit crazy, like batshit crazy and Ronnie, and that's when they revived the Tarnish in order, because they don't have a leader anymore, and now the world is in chaos because they have no leader. They sort of lead people, but it's kind of sketchy, and I don't really trust the two Elden Lord, which I don't have no idea who's right, and all the other people went crazy, and they're all pinned up against each other, and then the Tarnished are the ones who are like, you know what, we're just gonna find grace and hopefully become the next Elden Lord, I think.
I don't know.
Pass.
The lands between, for the most part. Or if you're like me, just Liurnia. I spent way too much time there.
The land where Elden Ring takes place is called the Land Between. Not the Land Betwixt, but Between. Woo, a new name.
The lands between? Is that right? The lands between? I think that's right.
Next question. What is the name of the place where Elden Ring takes place? I can name the places? Lunaria, Lingrave, Caelid. I have no idea what the world is called. Next one. What? Oh, is it the lands between? Oh, shit.
Elden Ring takes place in the lands between. This one I do know. What it's between, maybe your butt crack. Who knows?
The lands between are
The lands between are probably between our realm and some sort of celestial realm.
What are the lands between heaven and earth?
I don't know. Don't know. Yeah, no idea.
I don't know, 2 oceans? According to the map, it's like the lands between look like about 2 bodies of water. So assuming these people are flat earth people, that
Yeah, maybe the lands between are between that like life and death point. Actually, I don't know.
The Tarnished are essentially the human characters in the game. And I believe they are called the Tarnished because they were deemed unworthy of the light's grace.
I think it's a subset of people. They're sort of listed out at the start. You're one of them for no good reason. But people like the Dung Eater, and there's a few others named at the start in the opening video.
The Tarnished are the fuckheads who can't really die, but are chosen to become Elden Lords. Ugh, it gets murky here.
who are the Tarnished? The Tarnished are what seem to be previously dead people or a race of people who were apparently all killed because my Tarnished character came back to life once. I think the 2 fingers were like, we're going to bring this back to life in order to stop this chaos. And then one of these Tarnished are going to try to become the Elden Lord, something like that. So I think they're just sort of a race of people. Or a race. Or aliens. I'm not sure.
The Tarnished? I don't know that one either. This is awful. What are the Tarnished?
Who are the Tarnished? I'm a Tarnished. We don't have souls, or we're hollow? Maybe? Are we able to... I don't know. We seem to be able to change the course of events in terms of what happens with the Elden Lord and the tree, but I don't really know what a Tarnished is. We can also come back from the dead. I don't know if everyone else can do that.
The Tarnished are a race of those people who are painted gold that you see in like cities, like gold statue men that like sit there and like get money off the street. There's a whole race of them. And when the shattering occurred, they couldn't afford polish anymore, so they all got tarnished. And it just kind of passed along genetically, and now they're all tarnished, and it's just a whole big...
What is the Elden Ring? I'm doing very poorly at this.
What is the Elden Ring? It's the ring that holds this land together, I guess.
The Elden Ring is a combination of different runes that bind the earth or something. Riz, why do you do that?
The Elden Ring is a magical rune of sorts.
What is the Elden Ring? As far as I know, the Elden Ring is not unlike the One Ring from Lord of the Rings, where it's sort of the seat of power within the game world. I don't know. Terrible answer.
I mean, what is the Lord of the Rings ring? It was just a ring that symbolizes... I don't know. It's a ring.
The Elden Ring is best described as a metaphorical cock ring. It's there to keep reality rigid and firm and useful. And without it, it's a flaccid mess.
What is the Elden Ring? The oldest ring, obviously.
The Elden Ring is like the one ring to rule them all, I guess. It might have come from a tree.
It's like the sword in the stone, right? Whoever pulls the sword in the stone is the king, and whoever has the Elden Ring is king.
The Erd tree is. It seems to be like the life force tree. So it's some tree that seems to be at least sustaining this reality.
It was the Erd tree. The Erd tree is that big golden tree that you can see from all over the place.
An absolutely humongous, luminous golden tree.
What is the Earth tree? Where? It's a big fucking tree.
Or the lands between. Perhaps it extends beyond that, based on some like different layers that you see within the game world.
But yeah, the Erd tree is just a big holy tree that is very gold, and gold is always important.
The Erd tree, I don't know. You just gotta burn it. That's what I know. That's what she told me to do. My maiden told me to burn it down, so.
What is the Erd tree? Okay, I know what the Erd tree is. It's the big, giant, glowing tree in the middle of the map that you can see from when you very first walk out into the world. And some people want to protect the Erd tree, but some characters want you to burn it down.
So it's magic of some sort. Now, I've learned not to trust the holy man. Who knows if you should trust holy magic, but all things considered, I don't really know what it is.
My favorite area is probably... that's a good question.
I could tell you my least favorite is Caelid.
My favorite area, it must be Caleb because it's so super nice.
What is your favorite area and why? Well, it's definitely not Caelid. I hate Caelid.
My favorite area, probably Caelid. Caelid's a shit show. It's scary. It's thriving off of rot. Like, it's alive with rot. It's just a cool area. Like, everything there is terrifying. Everything there is going to kill you. It's just a cool place. And then aesthetically speaking, I mean, there's like this, the red sky, the pink ground, the white rot that's just going everywhere. The giant skulls in the background that are covered with overgrowth from who knows how long they've just, or what they are, dead. This like godlike creature, much less a demigod that was killed. What the hell is this thing? Anyways.
I know what my favorite place is. Suifer River area, where Nostrella and Nokra is. That's my favorite because the beautiful purple sky and the set design with like the cool little Greek palace and the like looks like it's floating in the sky, and then the castle area that's really cool where you get Renala's like sword thing that you give to her. That is my favorite place. I hate those ogres with the frickin' archer things that snipe you with the big ass arrows that stick into your face. But that place is really cool.
I think my favorite area has to be the capital. I think I just love the way that place looks. It definitely reminds me of more of an old school like Dark Souls game. But it's got a lot of nooks and crannies and like the lower levels, and the magic is just everywhere in the design of that thing, and like the big dragon, and I don't know. It's just a really cool place. Plus, you get the Erd tree right over top of you, and those weird enemies playing the musical instruments that have magic bubbles that kill you. It's just a really cool place. I think that's my favorite so far.
My favorite area was probably Altus Plateau. There goes my dog. Because, I don't know. It reminds me of the initial starting area that I don't know why I can't remember. I guess I haven't been there in a long time. But it's almost like a more autumny aesthetic. Rather than, or like looks kind of fall in a way. So it reminds me of the original area. And then when I initially got there, I really, really enjoyed it, especially the graphical look of it. Although it did kind of go down in rank a little bit. I think it's still my favorite, but it fell a little bit for me when you actually go down and get to the foggy area, because that's a scary area. You can't see very far ahead of you. There are worm faces and things like that, or like the little worm faces, whatever they're called. and which cause instant death. And so yeah,
I think I like the Liurnia of the Lakes place. Just there's different things. I mean, a lot of it's kind of swampy, but then you've also got these like nice mountaintops going on. And, we've got the academy there, and I really like the legacy dungeons. So there's like a little bit of everything in that zone, which I really like.
The enemy that I hate fighting the most is probably bears. They are so big and so aggressive. And they do this move where they kind of go up on their hind legs for a second, and then they rush you and they pick you up in their arms, and they fucking do some sort of like, backbreaker, like some kind of fucking panda bear in a Tekken game. Like, they're fucking cracking your back in half.
What enemy do you hate fighting the most? Lobsters? Crabs? Anything that really hurts. Oh, dogs. Dogs, bears, lobsters, crabs. Anything that is an animal. I really hate. Also, those awful birds in Caelid. Those are the worst. Those are the worst. Definitely. Bears. Bears are probably the worst. I don't think I've killed like a single bear because I hate them.
I've always, in every Souls game, really hated anything with a shield because I'm just bad at getting behind things. So anything with a shield is what I hate fighting the most.
in Nokron, the Eternal City, there are enemies, and I guess I dislike quite a few enemies, but I really dislike the massive giant iron ball things. Because in a typical RPG, those will roll down a hill and they would just go in a specific track, right? But these giant balls are like Terminators or something. Like they have minds of their own.
Enemy I hate fighting the most? Birds. Fucking birds.
What enemy do you hate fighting the most? It's a two-way tie. It used to just be rune bears, but now I think it's probably those grafted royal things. I can't remember what they're called, but they're terrible. They're not the scions, but the smaller ones, the royal something. I can't think what they're called. Someone will probably insert that there. But they're just terrible. Just terrible. Hate them both equally.
Is a tie between the three creatures. The first is the bell-bearing hunter in Caelid. He's a fucking asshole. The others are the birds in Caelid because I hate them. And the last one is this creature with, 16 hands or so that relentlessly attacks you. I don't know what the name is. It looks like a human centipede.
Also, I hate dogs.
Fucking hate birds. You don't know the different kind of fingers I've got? Those fingers do. Well, we've got a consensually helpful finger, a consensually painful finger to your liking. And then we've got a unconsensual finger. Now, we don't really use that one too much. I think it's a little rude, but sometimes you just
I know I've seen it popped up, like the fancy furled finger or the roasted extra crispy finger. I don't know. I don't use them.
The pinky, the flipper finger, and the bloody thumb. Yeah, those are the ones.
Okay, so there's a fur-calling finger, which you can put down in order to be called upon to another world. There's the evil gnarly finger that's red that you can become a person who... I don't even remember what it's called. Tarnished finger, maybe it's called. where you can go invade somebody in another world. And then there's some like stickly one that's Vare. I think it's a different kind of invasion to an NPC world maybe, or Vare's finger that I don't remember what it's called, that you can go invade that way. And then there's the fur calling, I call them cheetah puffs because you throw it up into the sky and it's like poof, gold in the air, where you can summon people into your world, but that's not technically a finger. And I hope that's what you're talking about, because otherwise I have no idea.
There's the Cheeto one that came from Michelle that puts a mark down to let people summon you to help in co-op. And then there's another finger, which is like the bad finger, that lets people summon you to fight. There's the finger that like kicks people out of your co-op things, I think.
I barely used any. I guess I used, was it like gold? I don't think it's actually Goldfinger, because that would be a total ripoff.
Okay, all the fingers you can use. Try finger butthole. So I love the sense of discovery and the surprises that go along with exploring the world. For example, I was just running around in the forest in this one part of the map. I saw what looked like a little mausoleum or something, and so I went to check it out, and there was like an elevator platform, and so I stood on it and it started going down, and I was expecting, I'll go down a level, maybe there'll be some like a little dungeon here or whatever. But the elevator kept going down for probably like 30 seconds straight. I'm just going down, 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 and down and down. And I essentially discovered this just enormous underground area called Siofa River that is so big that it looks like it has its own sky and stars under there. And so what I thought was going to be just a quick little diversion into a little dungeon turned out to be a whole new area that included several bosses and quests and its own secrets to discover. So that sort of thing is what really keeps me hooked and engaged.
Briefly, why do I like Elden Ring? It's hard to be brief about this, right? But I love the sense of exploration. I love feeling like there's always something to do, even though the world is massive and a bit sparse at times. It does feel like just around the next corner you're going to find something that you didn't see last time. I know that's happened to me a lot. Like I just didn't see a path, or I just missed a statue, or I failed to roll while I was in those ruins and didn't see that staircase revealed that took me down to a somber smithing stone 9. Between that and I really do love the lore. I can't wait to dig more into it. Once I've beaten the game, kind of get one of those videos in front of me, maybe take some notes, just because I think it's a really cool world. I love the character designs for the most part. I think Godfrey by far is my favorite piece of art in the game. I don't know, it's hard to be brief about this, but I do feel like it's sort of endlessly replayable. I feel like I'll be playing this game for a long time. Yeah, and just a sense of accomplishment when you actually beat that boss. Yeah. Later.
Why do I like Elden Ring? I like Elden Ring because it's my favorite playstyle, action RPGs. The same engine like Dark Souls, so the combat is like Dark Souls, and the playstyle, and it's got an open world. Yeah, I don't really need that, but it's great to explore, and the challenge and the variety. It's just fun.
Why do I like Elden Ring? I like Elden Ring mostly because I like Dark Souls. So The combat in Elden Ring is a lot like Dark Souls. It's a little bit faster paced. I mean, honestly, it's to me very similar to Dark Souls 3, but much more expansive. So it's just more of that same style in a slightly different world. It's not so. There are definitely places like Caelid that are very doom and gloom and kind of freak you out, or like the intention is to kind of scare you a little bit. In Dark Souls, a lot of it, in most of the Dark Souls games, a lot of it is to like really creep you out and really scare you. Not like a horror game, but like that's kind of the point, right? It's really dark and really dreary. Elden Ring's more bright and not, I wouldn't say cheerful, obviously. There's a lot of dead everywhere, just like in the older games, in the Souls games, but there is more of an emphasis on brighter colors and things. And I enjoyed that about the game because I don't typically gravitate towards games that are super dark and gray and stuff like that. But stop recording.
And then briefly, why I like Elden Ring. Honestly, it's just a good game. There are, archaic things about it. Multiplayer is still kind of weird and obtuse. FromSoft just does it like that. I can complain about some of the multiplayer online stuff, sure. Birds, sure, whatever. I'm being stubborn and just using a greatsword. Like, I could have a bow and arrow, sure. I don't need to just use melee. That's my own fault. But it's a good game. There's a lot of cool stuff that they did. A lot of stuff that they built upon and modified. I mean, this is over a decade of this formula coming to a head. It feels like Berserk the game, and I love it. I mean, I play that way. I am a greatsword wielding wanderer who just goes in and destroys everything before they have a chance to do much. Later in the game, I had to find myself having to learn how to dodge a little bit better, but all things considered, like, it's just a good game. It feels good to play. It's rewarding. This one less so than the other ones, when you go off the beaten path, because they can't fill every corner with something. It feels, I don't know, trite at that point, right? Like, but the world feels good. Even the dungeons that start to feel somewhat samey at a certain point in time, they'll throw a curveball at you, and you're like, whoa, wait, what? And it kept going throughout the game. It never just got too stagnant. There may have been slow parts, but you go somewhere else. There may be something you forgot about, you go back and you cheese it, because it's just so underleveled at that point. But hey, that's okay. Like, that happens. It feels good that the world exists in a set way. That some things are stronger than others, because that's just the way it is. It doesn't all. It's not, the world's not based around you, and that's the truth. That was a little longer than brief, but that's the truth. And with that, I think we're good.
Why do you like Elden Ring? It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the variety of environments, the different combat styles. I really love being able to switch up quickly between like being on a horse, hitting things with the katana, jumping off the horse, hitting things with various magic spells. There's all kinds of items whose descriptions I obviously don't read, as I think that's become clear. NPCs, which give you very vague quests, which I also don't pay attention to. I really love the legacy dungeons most of all. Anything that's a little bit more contained, where you're sort of forced to battle enemies. I kind of like the process of getting good. I know there's so many ways to do it in this, and you can go and get leveled up, and there's ashes and rune arcs and things you can use, but I like the places where it's like, okay, this is what's in front of you. Go beat it. Figure out how to do it. That's sort of what I really like about these games. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And also the multiplayer. Oh, haven't played too much of it yet, but it's really fun to run around with other people and come up against these weird, challenging enemies and explore these cool places. So yeah, that's why I like Elden Ring.
Last question. Briefly, why do you like Elden Ring? I don't know. I really don't. I've spent 100 hours in this thing and all I do is die. It's a problem. I'm really bad at this game, but I think the exploration, the items, the customization, the combat is also really fun. Difficult as all fucking holy hell. Like, I'm, again, really terrible at this, as some people who I've co-opted with can concur. But I love exploring the world. It's great. It's very crisp. The gameplay is fun. The story, as much as I don't know a goddamn thing, is very evident from me trying to answer these questions, is fascinating. Even, like, From Software's storytelling format, you know, they give you teeny bits of pieces in order for you to sort of figure out yourself. Like, it's very much against, like, I don't know, Ubisoft's sort of framework where they tell you everything and everything's got a video and everything's showing you everything where to go. Like, this is very much set back and let your character and you yourself do your own thing and decipher it and figure out the story in your own way. And I really like that. I think it's really cool. The setting is really cool, kind of medieval. And I can become a super sneaky ninja if I wanted to or whatever. Like, it's the game, and the gameplay itself is fun. That's what it comes down to. They made it fun. They made it challenging as all holy hell and frustrating at times. But when you finally beat that boss you have been trying to tackle for a fucking hour, it feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. So, yeah. So I like it. Okay. Bye-bye.